You see people that are on?
I think, yeah, I believe so. And it's Mother's Day, so I'm wondering if people will tune in.
I have a
But
couple interested in probably what I'm doing.
let me
Does it go on Facebook or does it just go on YouTube? Like, can they see? They have to click on that, right? Go to the
they have,
YouTube.
they have to click on that, yeah. So everything I have it, and I just started doing like lives and stuff as well. So it's something new that I'm gonna do. But I think I'm able to like, because this is Streamyard. We're through Streamyard to my YouTube. It connects, so I
Right.
believe I can connect my YouTube and Facebook together, and get it all as one. But they have to click on that, um, or go on my YouTube, and it shows us live right now. But we can wait a little bit and then just see where it goes. But yeah, man, like especially about the thing you're the meth thing with your buddy you told me about before this. It's crazy, man. That's a wild drug, and you can see someone, when they're off the drug and they haven't taken it, and then they start to get addicted to it, and it's like what?
Yeah. Well, like over here, like I think what happened a lot, it moved from opiates to meth. I guess as meth was cheaper. I mean, we have heroin out here now too, but everybody that was when I was an opiate addict like 7 years ago, most of them are now meth addicts. I don't know if
Mm,
there's something that's I don't know if it's better. I mean, I didn't. Luckily, I didn't have I got locked up before that transitioning period.
right,
Kind of like saved my ass, like crazy.
right,
And that's kind of how it started. Like people out here, we started. We when the pill thing hit, none of us really knew. Excuse me, a pillhead was. We knew a crackhead, cokehead, alcoholic. Never thought of a pill to be like heroin or anything like that. So we started, it was just we take it. We were working on construction, and they were like, "Hey, take one." We took it for some energy. We just felt good. Working, time was going by. Had no idea that it would lead into something crazy. Yeah. So it's just, and like I said back then, we never knew that there were pill heads. It was just wasn't out there like that.
right. Do you think if you didn't go to prison, you would have been, wound up in the street with, with whatever drug you've been taking or whatever it was?
Definitely. And it's prison. So this is what's crazy, man. I find that certain people that you'll meet that are addicts, and you can kind of tell people that are tired of it. Like, and I was one of those people. So like, it's crazy. Like, I don't push religion on nobody. I don't. It is what you want to believe. I'm not a hardcore religious person, but I will say some crazy things that I feel that's weird. It's like, so one time, it was withdrawn. You withdraw often. And I remember like, man, please God, like I want to get off this shit. I really want to get off this shit. And next thing I get locked up, I'm going to prison. I remember sitting at the cell being like, I didn't mean it like this, and
Right.
just kind of sarcastically chuckling to myself. And luckily, um, I got, they swindled, they kind of screwed up on things. So they made me cop to a deal, take a couple extra charges, and for me to take those couple extra charges, I had to cop out to I did a month bid, small, not enough bid to like really clean,
Right.
like I lucky, but I could have fought one of the charges that I had. It wasn't correct, but they threatened to give me 5 years if I fought it. So I had to take the charge that I really wasn't convicted of just to do 13 months or get 5 years. So that's kind of
You
part
see,
that I don't.
but why are they trying to like, hey, take this, 5-year deal or whatever, threaten you with it? It's like, why I don't get why the criminal justice system does that to kind of like
The state,
it.
the state doesn't like to lose, right? So whenever they get a charge that's dismissed, a charge that's reduced from their prior charges, they like to keep them. They
Right.
have a percentage rate of conviction rate. So even if you get charged for something, even though you didn't do it, they give you a deal. They still win that conviction rate.
Right.
And it's like, I mean, it's messed up because it can be detrimental into your life, even though you've already screwed up. whenever they say, okay, I know you have a theft, but I'm gonna put down robbery. So fight this stuff that did me. They said, I'm gonna give you 5 years on your violation, and I'll give you a petty theft, or you can take 13 months and I'll give you a robbery charge. I was like, but I was like, damn, like that sounds horrible. How am I gonna explain that to a job? You know?
Right.
Care? They're like, look, man, 13 months, you're done with everything. So that's why you see people out there and they watch people on the news and this guy has home invasion. This guy, he's horrible. If you have home invasion, you're out walking around free. Something there. They either gave you a deal that they didn't have enough evidence, and they just kept the charge on you. Because a real home invasion, you're done. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's one about a lot of convicts is a lot of them are not properly charged. Yes, made mistakes. Yes, fault to be there to begin with. Absolutely, but a lot of those charges are also incorrect. They're just cop outs. You know, the state. You have a public defender. The public defender's like, don't fight it. I get you 3 months, 3 years probation. Just sign right here, and we're done. And you're like, hey, I charged. That wasn't a possession. I didn't even. It wasn't even on me. We're going to be in the system even longer. You might go to trial. It might give you 5 years. You're like, all right, all right. You already know you're kind of guilty of something, right? You're just like,
Right.
I'll take it. You know, and that's how they take advantage of you. So,
Right.
for a lawyer, you know, so that's how I see. That's how the system works, you know.
And Mike,
yeah.
can you, I was about to say, especially with the death row and the life sentencing, some of these lawyers and attorneys, they don't have the proper evidence like you're talking about or whatever it may be, and it just drags on, and it just becomes, lack of evidence and etc. in people's lives. This is these clients, these inmates, their lives are in these lawyers or attorneys' hands and judges'
Absolutely.
hands, and it's. I don't think they understand, but they don't care. They don't care to understand, and it's very unfortunate. And I feel like that's another reason why they're abolishing the death penalty here in America, and continuing. I don't even think they're gonna have a. Are they gonna have a life sentence? I don't know if they're gonna have a life sentence just because the false accusations and misleading information from lawyers and attorneys, because it's serious, man. And then once you say you get convicted of a murder and you're charged 25 to life, and it's like you didn't even do it. It's like, what, bro? You spend 25 years of life in there and you didn't even do it.
I'll tell you what. My first time, man, I actually had my first public defender. So the first time I committed it, I was like 19. I was facing. I was facing. I was facing life. So there was a biker guy, and my buddies were like, "Yo, let's just go." They had like 5 firearms in the house, so we took them all, right? So they initially they charged us with burglary of a dwelling and then 34 counts of grand theft fire. We go into booking, and they're like, "Man, you got 35 felonies, plus you got a gang enhancement penalty. So each felony that's class felony 3 is felony 2. Every felony 2 is now a felony 1." It was like a crazy mess, right? I'm sitting there like, damn, is my life really over? Like I'm young and I'm thinking to myself, my life really over? Did I really just make that mistake? And I think that's a lot of young people don't realize until that gavel hits, and you're like, oh shit. But I sat there for a while, and what basically happened was I had a defender who really cared. She's like, you're young, and I want to see you go to prison for the rest of your life. I tried to find her and look her up and everything. And I asked Facebook too, because they were trying to give me the armed burglary charge, which would have given me some maybe 15 years. And as state said, I believe. And then she, right in front of me, she told them basically, she was like, listen, we don't want to get into that. So what happened was they broke down, they tried to um, the gang enhancement penalty was lowered because the detectives screwed up. They knew that there was a case as far as being a gang, but the problem was they screwed up as far as how they were investigating us, right? So they said that they were like, yeah, this guy's a leader, and this guy. They try to say the gang that I was in wasn't like California, right? There's no organized structure, lieutenants, and commanders and stuff. Just guys from the neighborhood formed a clique. We just looked out for each other. Mostly because the school that we went to was all minorities, black and mostly Hispanics, right? And they were always fighting. It was just like, it was crazy, right? So, anyways, they tried to say that we were disorganized, whatever. And so when the lawyers would ask the detective, how long did you know this guy is going to the army? That's actually what saved my buddy. Probably watching right now. Saved his ass. He went to the army. But what they did was they were like, no, we didn't know that. And they're like, well, you've been watching him, so you didn't know that he's already in the army, right? And they're like, oh, So they're like, wait a minute, you've been watching all these guys and you don't know nothing about them other than their names and their nicknames, right? So they're like, all right, that's out of there. So then, like I said, the public defender lady was like, she told the state, she said, I don't think you want to do that. And he went just like, okay. And what happened was all 34 counts, they said one house, no matter how many things you steal from one place, is one count. So it went from 34 to 1. So I ended up walking out of there with 18 months probation and a hell of a wait, right? And you would think that'd be enough to wake me up. And it did as far as certain things, but I totally get. So like I totally understand why young people make the decisions they do. That's one thing that one thing a lot of people ask me about and look about is like I know why people I understand why get clean. I understand why people join gangs. I understand why people use violence. I understand why people are the way they are, and that's the key. I'm not sitting here saying I'm condoning it, but I am saying that I do understand why you made life. So in order to fix that is to do stuff like this, right? I mean, the only way is to actually see they can show you a brighter side. Like it does not have to be this way. Like it really doesn't. But when you're young and you're feeling good, and your boys got your back, and the girls are calling, and you feel like you're somebody, and you feel important. That's something you never want to give up. And then you realize you make that bad mistake, and that's the end of it. And then you're like, shit, it's not what it is.
Right.
So I'm always preaching this, man. Like I've only grown like the past 3 years, right? Like when I got into business, I started meeting other business, and I thought that to myself that I was just going to be this, lawn guy, the bottom of the barrel shit guy that, successful people are just going to think I'm like this whatever guy, and I felt the stereotype, and I was kind of like, like had my wall up and stuff. And then I got past it, and I started shaking hands with them, and they started football with them, and they started teaching me about stocks and investments, and they started on multiple things of making moves and stuff like that. And I realized, number one, some of the stories are just like mine. They just
Right.
two, some of them are worse, and two, they're just normal. And in reality, they've taught me to really open my mind to a different game. Like even in this legitimate game, there is a real hustle that's the same hustle. It's like the same hustle but a different product. It's the same way of trying, not killing nobody, but to try to get to the next tier, you have to make network, make connections to work your way up, to you make those relationships. And the only way to get past relationships is really stop stereotyping people, man. Don't look at and think some white dude that you're some tatted up looking thug or something. Don't think that. The only way I see it is to reach people like that is to be genuine, and if you want to do business, is to prove you have value. What can you bring to the table? It doesn't matter what color you are, what tatted you are. You have to be someone that can provide value for any company, and that's working with any company. That's how you get promotion, all kinds of stuff. Is you have something of value. So forget what you think of yourself. Just be professional, and and you hold that type of will reach their hand out. They
Right.
will.
Right.
You have to be earned. It takes a while to earn that.
Right.
People.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, go for it, Mike.
So that's just one thing I try to explain to people around here. It's like some of my friends are like, this is all I know. I'm comfortable with this and stuff, and I'm not good at talking with other people out of comfort zone. I'm like, well, then you're gonna stay there.
Right.
stay there, man. Like that's how it is, man. You don't jump off the edge, you're gonna stay on the board. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Right.
So I always try to teach that, man. And like I said, I was a very shy person, a very held in person. Whatever. I realized that, getting out there. I've had right. The jobs that I do, I've met millionaires and really successful people, and they've talked to me about what they did, multiple investments, having multiple streams of income, investing. I mean, all like I've taken pick what I need out of each conversation, and you formulate it to make. So my biggest thing that I always say is life is like Legos, right? You get pieces from every little thing. Each person is a Lego, and you use that to build your structure till you get to the top. That's just the way so that's how you just look at life as like you're gonna go around it, and like you are gonna have people that are gonna say no. You are gonna have people that are gonna throw your. That's fine, regardless. Even if you didn't have a past, people are still gonna do that. People are still gonna talk shit. You don't have to be an ex-con for people to talk shit. You know what I mean? So just
Right.
don't worry about that. You find another way, man. There's
Facts.
always another way.
Right. Damn, Mike, you're preaching that, man. You're preaching that. All you said, man, you hit it on point, and you're the perfect role model. You know what I mean? Especially the stuff that you went through, the struggles, the adversity that you overcame, and look at you now, man. You're the role model for sure. And this is exactly why I do what I do, man. You spent, was it 18 or 13 months in there?
And 13 in prison. There's a couple more answer. But I
Right.
was in and out of that county jail.
Right.
Like,
And county jail's worse, huh?
yeah, it is actually. It's more. I seen more fights in the county than I did in the prison. Where I went, it wasn't inmates that were the problem. The guards were the problem. The guards were next.
Oh yeah.
They were like some crazy. There's a lot of racist guys up there. But
Oh yeah.
but,
It
but
and yeah, but yeah, you're right. It is the correctional officers. They're part of they're the main part of the corruption. I feel like we need less correctional officers, more counselors, and more like mentorship, and I don't know, just
well, the thing is for me. So put it this. So a little quick story about me, right? Like I didn't grow up like you know. I was adopted. I was born in an orphanage in Korea. I was adopted by a really good middle class family, and just growing up, I had my own really understand, and differences and comparing my life to other families' lives. So I kind of separated myself from that because I just felt I didn't belong at the time, but I just was and what it was. So I started hanging out with the bad crowd and stuff because I felt that's who I felt me, like
right,
what I felt comfortable with. Like and this is the type of person I am. I guess I was like I was like an angry person, and so gangs and brotherhood was like an outlet, a perfect outlet for me to just express myself. But even though it's stupidity, it's
right,
but what's crazy is like I tell people, even my friends that we did, bang this crazy stuff back in the day, and they're doing good too, and they're bringing their kids. We just have a good time, and sometimes people see me and I would drink and I throw up a little sign or something, just for the hell of it. And
right,
the thing, you're going back to your ways, and I try. People won't understand. It's like I know it's negative, it's bad, right? But it's I've been in bad situations with these guys. Like just I know we didn't go to the army, we didn't do it the legit way, but really bad situations where like I look over and like that dude's taking this with me. You know what I mean? We're going down together, and he's earned my respect. So when I do stuff like that, it's kind of just like it's like it can't help it. It's just like a sign of like, hey, this is who we still this is how we bonded.
right.
But it doesn't mean I'm still doing that. If I'm not doing anything like that. It's far from that. You know.
It's just a good time. You're having a good time. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And people. Some people understand. Some people will be like, "Oh, why are you doing that? Your
yeah.
Karens and stuff." But yeah, man, you're just having a good time. Um, Now, Mike, uh, how am I gonna put this? Being adopted and then being adopted into a middle class family. Um, why did you feel like I'm not going to say neglect, but why did you feel like the outcast? Why did you feel like the outcast when you're a part of something like you had a roof over your head, you had food on the table, you didn't have to worry about anything, you didn't grow up really in the struggle.
Well, what happened was, like, I remember what I would do was I would go to my friends' houses, right, and I would see how their parents treated them. So in my mind, I was like, well, they don't treat me like that because and I always compared my life that I was living to somebody else's family life, and assuming that was reality, and that my life was like this because I'm just adopted. But yeah, everybody's family is different, and they discipline their kids differently. I just wasn't understanding that, so I always thought, like, I'd always tell them, "Oh, you ground me because I'm adopted. You're doing this because I'm adopted," and I just never felt, like I truly belonged. And one thing that was crazy, so, like, not even a year ago, a long time ago, my mom was probably just talking gibberish, but she had told me, she said that my dad wanted a girl and my mom wanted a boy, right? But I was like 5, 6 years old. So I told my dad a year ago, and I was like, "Hey, Dad, did you ever say that?" Right? And he was like, "I never said that." And I was like, "You never said that?" So, like,
Yeah,
37 years, I've been always thinking she always wanted a girl, like, and that messed me up. Like, I thought, I just felt like I'm just here because, mom wanted me here. So I grew up with all these, like, hidden animosities and and trust issues and all this because of that one comment. You know what I
right.
mean? And plus, going to, like I said, I would go to other people's houses and see how their family treated. I didn't understand. I just thought that that I was just being treated less because I was adopted. So in reality, I was just being treated like any other kid. But it was just hard for me to understand that. Um, being young.
Right. No, I understand. I totally understand what you mean because I used to do that too, man. I'm like, I used to go over to my friend's house, whatever it may be. They got the nice crib. They got this. They got the food. Lots of food in the pantry,
Yeah.
and this and that. And it's like I'll go home some nights like, oh, where's dinner? This and that. Stuff like that. I can go in deep with it, but the relating as well to other families, yeah, man. I used to do that as well. Um, that's crazy though, man. Like living with that, with the discussion with your parents about, you just led
Interpret.
what they said. Yeah, misinterpreted what they said. And dang, yeah, I mean that's crazy though. That's crazy though. But it's what else is crazy that there's actually parents like that telling that to their kids to their face.
Yeah.
And it's sad, and it goes a long way, kind of talking down on their own children. And now you wonder why people or
Yeah.
kids grow up in the prison system and the even the foster care system, man. I wanted to touch on that a little bit. I'm not too sure how long you were in the foster care system. But what are your thoughts on it? Because I feel like it's not 100% what it is.
No. Well, I don't know much. Like, where I was an orphanage in Korea, and I was two, so I don't know much about that. But as far as foster, being locked up with a lot of foster care kids, and even having they did have a foster care home down the road, and this kid used to come by, and I bought him some car washing stuff to help him start a little business and whatnot and stuff like that. Get it, but the foster care homes I'd say it's hard, man. From what I can see and what I know from friends, it's hard. It's like every man for himself, and people will steal from you and stuff like that, and they got to live around people, watching other people with families and
Right.
hug. Like, that's torture every day, man. It's just like, like, I can't imagine. At least I was fortunate enough to be adopted by a family. They're just out there being pro bono, just walking through life trying to own. And they have to watch people go behind their cars and smile and stop at McDonald's and stuff. And I can understand why there's anger. And kids like that, they do need better mentorships. I think the problem is funding, one, and
Yep.
two is it's really hard, especially to try to convince a teenager to think differently, man. It really is.
Right.
Like, those people like me, I just had to learn by making mistakes and finally just been like, do I want to keep doing this? I don't know. Some people don't. like I said, I always tell my friends, nieces, like, don't look at me as an example, because God forbid, people just make one mistake and that's it.
Right.
Like I've made plenty, but I always say, like, like, always look at everything as a blessing, right? Anytime you
Right.
survive a crash, anytime you've done something wrong and you've made it out of it, man, it's like those are warning signs. Like you can't keep continuing to press that button, go off. So same as I told that foster kid. Look, man, I kind of understand where you're coming from. It's a little different for me, but I promise, you gotta just keep going and make something for yourself. You're gonna have a family. Honestly, that's one thing that helped me. Like, whenever, I used to always tell my parents, when I have kids, I'm gonna have my own blood. It's gonna be my own blood. I'm gonna love, and this, I just threw that in their faces, but I was just angry. I didn't know. I felt like, to be family, we had to be blood. Like, I just did not accept them as my parents for many, many years. I gave him hell about it. And when I matured enough, and it's like I had to put him through all that hell for me to finally be like, all right, you know what? You proved I believe you're my parents now.
Right.
And but I've watched other adopted kids get sent back and stuff like that. So I was always like, when I was 10 years old, my neighbors, she was a adopted Korean girl, and we were playing one day. She was she was gone, and I asked them what happened to her, and they're like, well, we sent her back. Went to my dad's house, and I said, man, don't send me back. I said, whatever I do, I'm sorry to you. I'm sorry if I made y'all mad. Please don't send me back. And he's like, we'll never do that. We'll never do that. But to me, in my mind, I was like, he's just saying that. I don't know. This could happen any day. So I was
Right.
all prepared for something like that. And even that mentality carried on into my relationship. Even my
Right.
girl, just like, you're never gonna be here forever. Like, relationship. That shit come and goes, man. I can only
Right.
count on myself, and my kids will always be my kids. And I still carry that chip on my shoulder, and I don't know if that's why.
Right.
But I try not to, but it's just, I don't know why. I still carry it, man. So it's
Have-
sad. Sometimes you'll sabotage your feelings to make it happen, and then you can say, you know what, I was right. In reality, you just didn't have to do that. Fine. So, like, I've realized that I do that sometimes. Is when I feel something's not right, even though it's just a simple matter of conversation, I'll turn into something worse, and then make it blow up and run out the door. And I'll be like, I told you you're gonna leave me. In
mhm.
reality, ain't nothing. I could have just sat still and everything would have been fine.
Right. Right.
But these things like this, you have to realize about. That's the biggest key of really. That's one thing prison did, sit there and really make me think about myself. Like, why am I like this? Why am I like that? People that are on the outs, they go through life so fast. I don't really get a chance to self-reflect and understand what makes them tick and talk, or even admit to it. And once you find out why, then you find purpose and just
Mhm.
take off. That's all it is, man. you
Right.
know Finding yourself. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Hey,
So
Michael, have you had the chance to meet your biological parents?
I did, man. Well, I had a chance one time to meet my real mom. I was young though, and I didn't want to. I was afraid that if she saw me, she was like run up to me and hug me, tell me back, and I didn't want. And I was with my parents. I was like, I love y'all, man. Like, you're my parents. Like, I don't want to be shared. I don't want to cause rift. But I didn't end up going to the meeting, and ended up finding out she didn't really care to see me anyway. She was gonna see me that one time and basically say, look, like, nobody knows about him, and let's just keep it like so. But I do have half brothers and half sisters. But and people ask me, curious, would you like to see her now? And I'm like, I don't think even she would have put up with whatever I did. Like, it's my parents now have done more for me than I think any typical parent put up with. It insane. It's very insane. And so
Right.
good with that. I'm content with that.
Hell yeah. Did that kind of lead you? That kind of relationship of you not feeling kind of you just kind of feel different in a way growing up. Did that kind of lead you when you're hanging out in the wrong crowds to
Well,
the addictions?
Well, no. What happened to addiction was, well, my crowd started out was I was like the only Asian kid in a Mexican black school.
Mm.
So I mean, I was like fighting. It was just like, all was, dogs, cats, all this crap. Finally got tired of it. Started fighting, and some group of guys was like, "Come kick it." I was like, "Boom, boom, boom." We started out, and things stopped happening. And but what happened was, I was selling. I was selling drugs for a while. I was in my 20s and 19s, and what happened was I was doing this. I was doing like we would do we'll call it construction, whatever. And I would trade some coke for some pills because the pills would give us energy. So me and my buddy would pop one every morning, and we would, go to work, eat as hell, not knowing that this is like some like devil pill. It was like we're
Right.
like, hey, go to work. Time goes by fast, and eventually one day I didn't have it. I got sick, and I didn't know why. So she came up to me and she handed me one. She's like, "Here, this is why." And I took it. I was like, "Oh shit," And I was like, "That is," and it just spiraled. Like it becomes to a point where you need it to just to function. So it goes from being enjoyable to just having the will to get more. Like seriously, like it's horrible, man. It's I don't wish that on nobody. So even when I was in the detoxing, so I swear probably like 2 weeks, I slept maybe 2 days, like a total of 2 days. I was having like crazy night, throwing up, diarrhea, all this crazy crap. And what's interesting was I remember watching TV, and a teardrop came down my eye, right? And I remember being like, and I always kind of looked back to it, and I was wondering if that was like emotion back, because when you're on pills, man, like you're happy when you're on them, right? But like people are like, how do you throw away your kids? Do these things to people you love, and it's like no one wants to do that, right? It's like
Right.
and people don't understand. It's like nobody wants to be like that. When you once you're stuck, it's really hard. And it makes you cold. It's like that's the only thing that you can love. That's the only thing that can get you up in the morning.
Right.
So you're gonna run past your family. You're gonna try to get them for $1 because you need this now to feel you need it to survive. So then your whole mind frame is just that's it. Like I need this every day, every day, every day, and it's you get stuck in that. It's a job. It becomes another full time 24/7 job, man. And yes, your kids get put aside. Everything gets put aside because you need to function.
Right.
So that's how that happened. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing.
And so, I mean, that's crazy, Mike. Because I would have never thought, man. Like, I came across you on TikTok. I believe, well, I think it was one of your viral videos or something. I messaged you. Um, and it's just crazy, bro. Like, the stuff you've been through. Like, you had a, like, perfect family, right? Middle class, whatever, you know. And then and then well, there's things that lead up to it of why you chose what you did. And then in and out of county jail, and then once in prison. It's crazy because the majority of the people that I interview and this is what makes it unique, and this is why I do what I do, because everyone has a different story, and it's interesting for real. And majority, oh, I only had one parent, this and that. My parents, neglected me, or they beat on me, stuff like that. And yours is like total opposite. Um, and it's amazing, dude. Like, it's kind of weird to say that, but it's kind of amazing, how if you actually sit down with someone and understand their story and hear their journey throughout their life, it's I love it, man. And that's exactly why I do what I do. But now you struggle with addictions. You've been in and out of county jail, prison, once in prison, and now, like, look at you now, man. You got the chain on. You got you got your last name. You got your last name on your shirt and your hat, man. Like, that's someone's dream, owning their own company, and
Well,
being their own.
so don't get me wrong. So how the company started, man, was I was still on the street doing some dirt when I got out of prison. Like I wasn't gonna work for minimum wage.
Right.
I was like, There's no way in hell I'm working for minimum wage. People could say, judge me. People can judge people like that and be like, oh, the whatever way. But I was like, I can't do it.
Right.
It's too good. It's too easy. So I was selling some stuff, and this lady turned me, and I was actually going to HCC because I was actually, better with myself as I was still doing some things on the side. And the cops came to my house. Our girl opened the door for him. I had to say pills, and they basically said, we know we got a tip that he's selling pills out of here, but I don't have a warrant. And you can either tell him right now to either stop what he's doing, or we'll be back. So that decision, it wasn't worth the rest of my life. So I dumped everything. And my pops, I was trying to gave some money to my pops, and I was like, listen. He was like, listen, man, what do I got to do for you to be an honest citizen? Like, what can I help you do? Because I was actually trying a couple jobs and got fired because it was seasonal. I said, I can cut some grass. And my girl's was doing landscaping for a while.
Mm.
He's like, you know what? How about this, man? I'll put a company in my name because he's a retired Air Force colonel and stuff. So it's like I'll put a company in my name, and we'll get you a lawnmower, and we'll it's up to you from here. So I was like, all right, So we went that direction, and I was feeling good because, like you said, I have my name on my shirt. I'm like, I'm gonna do this. And then he tells me, he's like, yo, cutting grass, we're not making no money. You're gonna have to find another job or figure something out. So I was like, you know what? I already know what I can do. I'm not worried about it. It's
Right.
easy. And then I seen this lighting stuff on Facebook, and a guy named Corey Glenn. He owns this nice company in Tampa called. And I reached out to him, and he was like, a lot of people try to take this seriously, but they're not dedicated. So I went out there and I did some jobs for him. I sold some jobs for him, and he showed me everything. I was, how much you charge for this? And he was like, da 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 da. And I was like, oh, I can do this. I can do this. So, I started doing it, and it changed the game for me. But the point I said, like, I ran into a roadblock, right? And I didn't just, I could have resorted to the way. I'll tell you. Okay, this is what's weird. It was crazy. I'm gonna tell you a little weird story. How
Cool.
I got. So I've always told my friends this, my parents this. Whenever when I almost got busted that night, I don't know what it is. Want to call it God, intuition, whatever. Something in my stomach told me, whatever you do, do never go back to resort to that. I don't care what the hell you do. Do not resort. Just keep going. There are gonna be times when you're not gonna have any money. Just keep going, right? So I remember I had like $100 in my pocket, and my brother would come by. One of them would call my. He's like, look, man, I got this, man. You can make a quick flip. Do this. Duh. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm all right. I'll figure something out. And he come by, and people test me every once in a while. That's all right. I'm gonna figure something out. And I would tell myself like, okay, whatever. So and then at that time too, we were living in a little apartment. I told my girl, I was like, look, you know what? I didn't know how I was gonna do it. I just said, I'm gonna get us a house one day. I'm gonna get us a better truck. And I didn't have any clue on how I was gonna do it. I just kept working, kept working. And like I said, the lawn care business was failing. I started picking up on lighting slowly but surely. Somehow, I worked on my credit for 4 years, and boom, I got a house. And
Mm.
my beater truck got messed up. I ended up getting a really sweet truck. Luckily, fly truck
What
did
kind
all.
you got, brother?
Well, it's a lifted 250. So you open. It's a 2019. Step side comes down. But what's crazy is 5 years ago, I was like, I want to. Would be like, yeah, right. And it took some time, and I remember when he hit the alarm button, I was like, that ain't the truck. And he was like, VIN numbers match. I'm like, don't fuck with me, man. fuck, fuck with me. So I ended up being that truck, and what's incredible, even when I was hustling back in the day, and I seen the car with the rim, I was like, I want a car like that. People are like, yeah, whatever, and I ended up getting one. So it's weird. It's like I do things in my life, like I don't like I want things, but my all I do is just work out, and somehow it just comes together. Like whatever gut instinct I have, I don't know. It just finds its way to come together. So like but it's patience. That's what the thing is. The key is patience. everything. You're not going to get rich overnight. You just have to stay persistent and continue, keep at it. Eventually things will work its way out. Of course, if you're building your credit, you have nice. Of course, if you're motivated and you're doing things and you're showing that you have value, people of value look into you, right? So
Right.
opportunities open, but you have to be consistent to prove these to people, and it takes time. Some people are like, I'm doing this a year, screw it. It's kind of like a record deal, honestly.
Right.
When manufacturers sometimes, it's like trying to get signed to a record label, right? It's
Right.
like they're like, you're in the room, a conference room with them, and you're like, what table and how can you help me?
Right.
And just it's the same thing. You have to prove that you have value, and it takes time, and it takes constant, like, and I'm not there yet, but I got a pretty good grip of what it takes, so
Right.
that's all it is. People need younger people just need to, they're used to fast, but just don't worry about that. It's gonna come. It's gonna Half of them are just wasting fast money on cars and girls, like, wasted on some investment, wasted on some
Right.
stock,
On some
land.
Doge.
Yeah, some.
Did you invest?
No, man, I should have. I Back in the day, I seen it. But there were so many, I just didn't know. But I did get in the safe moon. I said, I hope safe
Safe.
moon.
Yeah. Hey, Safe Moon's great. Isn't it up like crazy amount right now?
I don't know. I haven't even checked, but I
Yeah.
$400. I got like 49 million of them. So hopefully in a year or two, it hits like Dodge and Doge, and I don't
Yeah.
know. But honestly, another thing cool about what I'm doing is, so my goal in business, man, is to, number one, like, when I tell people that are close to hiring me, and my even the manufacturers I talk to, like, I tell them, like, straight up, like, me becoming successful in my business is not necessarily just it's for myself. Um, I'm gonna measure my success by the people around me. Like, my boy gets out of prison a year and a half. I want to give him a good job. The people in my community, I want to give them better jobs. I want to give them every opportunity that I didn't have. Not that I'm put up with their shit, but I'm gonna give you the opportunity to get on your feet and live right. So once I can build to a point where what the cool thing is, the guys that I do work with, we were rivals, right? We were like
Really.
rivals, like nasty, crazy, like bad, and it's interesting that we work good together now, and we talk to each other respectfully because we have like this hidden mutual respect, and so we work good with each other, but yeah, so I really want, when I do better, I really do plan on bringing people with me, and helping, give back to my own community. Is my, like, really, like, real shit. Like, I'm not saying like they're just like, if I can help somebody out or do something, I would love to
Right.
be.
Absolutely, Michael. And I feel like even like talking to schools or like youth programs or something, because like I said, you've been through it, so and look at the outcome now, man. Like you're running your own business, like the whole landscape deal and lighting. That's huge. And what can a person do? You know, like, can you give that person advice for those that are, in and out of prison, or they're about to get out of prison and they're like, that feeling when you get out of prison, you're like, okay, like I'm about to go into society right now. I'm going to have to look for a job, do this and that. Even for someone that's struggling with addictions, drug addictions, that want to get out and kind of like start a new path, and what advice can you give them?
Man, biggest advice, man, is to change your friends, man. Honestly, one big thing about growing is be around people that are growing. You'll meet people that are making money, crazy things, man. I got my buddy in California sells churros, making great money, you know. And the thing is like, okay, you have a felony, okay, started a job, that might be low waging, bust your ass, your value, get some raises, put away money, and start thinking. Or if you start as a plumber, or you start as an electrician, start at the bottom of the barrel. Learn the craft as best as you can, and then work your way to doing it for yourself. That's all I can say. So
Right.
yeah, you're gonna suffer in the beginning, but you're gonna gain all that knowledge to go on your own, so you can go on your own and build something for yourself. Bring your building other people's dreams and build your own.
Right.
That's what. And as far as addiction wise, like I said, it's hard because you've made these friends from addiction. They've been there for withdrawn, and they help watch your kids. But you got to understand that those friends you've made out of drugs. You really want to help anybody. You have to be at a position where you can help, right? So I
Right.
just they're like, I gave him my last dollar, and then I'm like, yeah, because you can't do that. You gotta wait till you $50 if you want to give away a dollar. Then you can help somebody. Don't screw
Mhm.
yourself helping somebody, because then you're just gonna stay down there with them. You got to
Right.
be in a where you can help, and the best way to do it is work on yourself first. Fix
Right.
yourself, and then get to a position at a level where you can, and then help somebody. You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't do it when you're broke.
That's
You can
fact.
give advice. You can give advice, but don't give them your last dollar. Don't let them
Right.
take.
Right. Absolutely, Michael. That's great. That's great advice, man. And hopefully, someone takes that and runs with it. Um, Now, how give us some pointers about how you can stay out of prison and stay out of that drug life and
It's well, one is like I said, you have to surround yourself with people that are doing things. Like there's so many memes about that. Real. Like if you're around people that are doing nothing, you will do nothing. If you're around,
Right.
always step your game up, and then like I said, you might do jobs and you'll be around you and ask questions like, how did you get there, man? And they'll be like, I sell toys for a living. What do you mean you sell toys? You're on this yacht. How do you sell toys for a living? Well, I get on my yacht. I go out there. I middleman it basically on a computer. Whatever toy stores where the demand is, I order from and I drop ship. And you're like, what? Yeah, man. It's like there are so many hustles out there in business, ways to make money in business and sales, and I mean, there's so many ways people are making money. It's ridiculous
But the
nowadays.
thing is, Mike. The thing is,
Uh,
Mike. Real quick,
yeah.
the school system, the school, especially like the elementary and middle school and high school, they're not going to teach you that.
Yeah, they're not. I've been watching a lot of videos, and it's interesting about that. As far as they don't teach you about your credit, they don't teach you about investing, they don't teach you about, you know, assets and stuff like that. And they should, because I mean, if you could, I would have known this younger. Like all that money I made on the street, I would have been sitting back right now.
You'd been out on an island right now, huh, bro?
Yeah. So, but that's the biggest thing. Is like I said, but the only way to do that is to be around people that can teach you that, man. You stay around now. The biggest problem too is those friends will look at you. They think that they turn your back on them, right? They're gonna be like, oh, he thinks they're better than us now. He think he's too good to hang with us. Oh, he ain't. Look, man, you come in this world by yourself. You go out by this world. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you, not what's best for everybody. Do what's best for you first, then you can do what's best for everybody. But like I said, you cannot come up in life trying to worry about everybody else. You have to come up, talk to people, learn and actually care to learn. Like I said, a lot of ex-convicts will come out trades.
Mm,
Trades is a good way to up your game. Some of them do AC or whatever. Some of them are really good at it, but they don't think to themselves, how do I? Sometimes the bosses will scare you into believing that you can't go on your own. Oh man, I spend $50,000, $100,000 on taxes, and I paid this on this, and you got to. And they're secretly just trying to keep you to work for them, which is fine. That's if you're comfortable and you're making good money, by all means, but don't let that deter you that you cannot do it on your own because you really do that. But you have to go out there and teach yourself. Even when I was doing bad with sales, I just go on YouTube. Like I couldn't pay a salesperson, thousands of dollars. I just went on YouTube. I mean, YouTube, the internet gives you any information you need. You can
right.
teach. And I went on there, learned. I can't watch like a bunch of videos because my attention span is very short. But I got enough out of it to change a little bit of how I talk, a little bit of my game, and it's helped tremendously. So, you know, the drive has to be there. That's the biggest thing. Some people are comfortable and they settle, and that's fine. Some people are like, you know what, I'm making $1,000 a week at my AC job, and oh hey, you're living legit. Kudos to you. Some people want more. scared to do it. And that's what I'm saying. If you want to, you know, I'll tell you another thing. Like I said, because I do some like stuff in the concrete and stuff like this. And they're
Right.
like, scared to mess something up that you can't fix. And I said, no, because I'm friends with a lot of contractors. You know, whatever. If I need a helping hand, they'll come out here and fix it for me. Maybe even just for a 12-pack of Corona. You know, like surround yourself. You surround your network yourself with people in your industry and friends in your industry. You know, you ain't gotta worry about nothing. They got your back. It's like your new gang. You know what I'm saying? It's like it really is like you can develop a new network of friends that you don't have to worry about losing back. So that's the biggest thing
Right.
is gotta get out.
Right. We got that spice. Michael gave us that spice, man. That was nice. Now if someone wants to they're looking up to Michael, they're looking up to what you do and where you started and now look at you now. They want to be like you or somewhat like you. How can they start out in landscape? Like if they wanted to do like landscaping or something similar to that, how can they start off and what do they have to do to start off?
Well, the best thing to do on in landscapers, you can be found. They hire us all the time. Best way to do is work for somebody for a year or two. Once you get comfortable, learn the plants, learn the irrigation systems, whatever you need to, and then you'll find the confidence to go on your own. But you definitely just can't go off the bat. But I'll tell you another thing that I do, man, and I do this, and I post this all the time, TikTok and everything. When people ask me questions, man, I've had installers, the video call me, and I'll teach them how to do it.
Right.
I'll phone and be like, look, okay, you're standing at this irrigation zone, you're standing at this light. How can I help you? It doesn't matter. If somebody on here really wants to learn something and really wants my help, I'm more than happy to do them.
You're good. Oh, you got a call. You got a call. You're chilling. Oh, there we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
there we go.
I'm more than happy to always give advice. Like if it comes down to it, and you really want to know. I mean, the guy asked me on my TikTok.
Michael's phone's hot right now, people. You're good. Yeah, I think it's still calling. You're good. Can you hear me? Nah, it's cutting out. I don't know if you still have that phone call on. No. I can't hear. Are you muted on accident, maybe? uh,
Right. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
there we go. Perfect.
All right.
Yeah,
So
but
yeah, man. Just I don't know. Like I said, I'd be happy to like when I share my TikToks and stuff, and there's people that ask me, like I did that glow up. There are people that ask me all kinds of stuff, and I answer everybody like I possibly can. I mean, yeah, you get the stupid people that are like 18th Street, motherfucker. I'm like, who cares, man? Like, I'm not even in Cali. I don't even care. But like, anybody that asks me, sometimes they ask me some for real questions and message me like, "How can I do this, man?" And I tell them. So, like, I'll do whatever it takes to give back, man. I don't mind people, messaging me. I'm not one of those guys who are like, I always answer everybody that comes to me with a real question and see whatever I can do to help. And
right,
everybody, even in my community, knows I'm like that here.
right.
I'm like that all the time, man.
Hell yeah, Michael. I noticed on your TikTok, or yeah, your TikTok that you got a new employee that you're training. Are you
Mm,
training him or something? Or I don't know if you're training him. I saw you post on your TikTok.
yeah, I don't know about a new one. He's been with me. It's one of my
Oh,
friends, and he's one of my friends from the past too. So that's kind of cool. We
right,
like I said, I like employing them and trying to grow. They believe in they really support me and believe in me. They're not, like they know the stuff that I'm trying to do. and they really, in return, all I ask is you give me 100, and if I make this, I'll give you back 200. That's the way it is.
Looking out, man. That's what you do, huh? Looking out for your people. That's big.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that'd be kind of cool. Like if you kind of expand your business and even let like ex felons, hop on the wave, and teach them, man. And then there you are. You're on Good Morning in New York, what I mean? Something like that. Start a new wave. That'd be really cool. Because most of those people that are in the prison system never had a role model or guidance in life. You know what I mean? I feel like you've lived it, and you can be that helping hand and that encouragement, which is very important, especially going to these youth facilities and just brightening it up, like putting the light to the darkness. You know what I mean? They just need that extra. Here, you can do this. This is possible.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, and it's just people. You have to be a go getter. You have to go get it. You know what I mean? It has to be in your DNA. If you're not about that, then you're just going to be living. You're going to be content with being who you are, and you don't want anything better with yourself.
One thing about working the way I do is, one thing that I've watched that was a great movie, man, was Founder. You seen Founder about McDonald's?
I have not.
I mean, he screwed him at the end. He could have gave him some money, but the point of the story is, he really watches people and he finds their strengths. So he would go into restaurants and he would find people that were good managers. The guy that was details, picking up every napkin that fell on the floor and cleaning off everything. He went over there and said, and you find out that in certain jobs, just certain people are good at certain aspects of the job. You can't get a guy that's like universally good at everything, right? Some guys are good at, design lighting, but not good at installing. Some guys are good at it, but not good at. So you definitely have to hire people for their strengths, And top of ex-con, I always try to tell my buddy that has a bigger company than me, it's like, if you can get these guys, some of these guys, a lot of them have great potential. They have no idea. I got that I follow on Facebook, Polk County, gold teeth Mexican dude, raps all the time, really well, right? His girlfriend gets him a watercolor set, and he draws this picture like a guy with a watercolor set, first time on canvas, and it's absolutely beautiful. Like it looked like somebody professionally. I didn't even believe it, and it's crazy. There's a lot of people like that just don't even know they have a hidden niche in their life, and they just haven't tried enough. Like I found out what I love doing by doing a bunch of things that I hate doing.
Right.
People just don't cycle enough, and they just settle, and they don't realize that there's something that you're passionate about. You'll make money because
right.
And some people are just like, you know what, I'm gonna stay here because I'm comfortable, and I get that. But then they're like, hate going to work every day, and they come home angry. It's like, keep going until you find your niche. Now, granted, some people can't afford that because you got bills and you just can't go job to job.
Right.
But that's up to you. You're gonna have to take that risk and know what you like doing, or you're just gonna have to be stuck and be miserable. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Facts. That's facts. Now, what motivates you to keep doing what you're doing and stay clean and out of prison? Like, what keeps you motivated and all that good stuff?
Because I already know what's waiting for me back there. And I got a lot riding on it, and I got a lot of people that are riding on it that want to see me successful, man. And like I said, I've already hit rock bottom, and we already know what it's like to give up, and not what I'm trying to be at. So that's that's what it is.
Right. Damn, Mike.
It's like this, man. Like I always say, man, you can give up. You need to live your life in a hole, and die, or you can keep climbing until you get out of it and live and prosper. And it's just what you want to do, man.
Right.
It's not the way I want to live. I've been in that hole.
Facts. Well, how was it like what was it like in prison in Florida for you? Real brief.
It was interesting. I mean, when I went
there's not heavy politics in Florida, right?
Yeah, I felt like I mean, the Hispanics always stuck together. The Hispanics, like I said, the guards were the worst. That's all we worried about. I've seen guards do nasty things to people, like kick them and up, and actually when extended stay, actually Santa Rosa was on the stay lockup.
Oh, I watched that. Where's
Yeah,
it? Oh, it's Santa Rosa.
I
Santa
was.
Rosa's on there.
Yeah, I was there when they were filming, and the guards told us. They even told us, like, listen, anybody says anything, you already know. And everybody, we already. And that was the year I was there. It was like 2011, 12. Yeah,
Damn.
and the guards, like, even when I got there, they'd be like, "You watching, motherfucker? You speak English, motherfucker?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Yes, what, motherfucker?" And they talk to you like that.
What?
Whatever you want, they can say nigger. They can say whatever they want, man. It's seriously. They're like, "I'm gonna spray me a nigger today. I'm gonna spray me a Chico today or whatever, just for the hell of it." And they stick together, man. All the good COs, they leave. You know what I mean? They don't want to put up with that shit.
What? Because I know I interviewed Lamont. Interviewed Lamont. He spent 18 years in California's pen, and he was up in High Desert. And he said the same exact thing. Literally the same exact thing what you just said. That's what they do.
And
They
like,
just feel superior, or what is it?
yeah, I think it's a power trip. Uh, sometimes when they play with them lifers too, you got to be careful. They don't give a shit. Like I've seen them. I've seen a guy just knock one guy out, off of certain stuff. But then of course, like 20 officers come and beat his ass. I mean, they mace him, and the thing is like this, man. Just like, I know we make mistakes. I know people make mistakes. Same time, there's a lot of people that are there for stupid shit. Like little petty shit, addiction shit, and to be treated like shit. Granted, you put yourself in there, but there's got to be some sort of like that shit's just ridiculous. Like it's like it doesn't. Like everybody's already angry, and what's crazy is I had more respect from people in prison than you ever. Where you're like, anytime you bump into someone, you're like, excuse me, sir, because you don't know who you're dealing with, and you don't know what kind of day they're having. So
Right.
you're like, excuse me, sir, my bad, I didn't mean to bump into you. Oh, you're good, you're good. I remember my first time in Orlando. Uh, this guy called Sharky. He's kind of like a little mental, whatever. He started having a seizure, right? So he stops breathing, and the other inmate is big old, like, listen, he's like, man, he ain't breathing. So they're coming down with a cart, and they're walking. They're just walking the cart. And he picks him up over his shoulder like that, and he runs him all the way. He's like, y'all fucking too slow, and he runs him all the way to the thing, and he saves his life, man.
Damn.
Inmate that saved his life. That was the inmate. That was cool. Like, tearjerker. It was like, damn, like, there's good people in here, man. They just make bad mistakes. It's sad that's what it comes to, and I definitely say, well, there's people in the ghetto that make it, and it's true, there are, but some circumstances, like some people just, like I said, there's people out here that made it, in middle class, upper class, rich, that done the same stupid shit. They just didn't get caught. They just didn't get that one time that they just got lucky.
Right.
Sometimes people forget about that, don't realize it, man. You're just fortunate. You
Right.
just hurt. So I'm not saying that you need to give back, but I feel like if you survive anything, you should share something. You don't have to be too detailed, man, but don't be hard on people. But usually they're not. Usually people that are like me and stuff like that. When you see a crackhead, we're not like filming him, making fun of him and stuff like that. I'm giving them a donut. I don't. I feel bad for them. They suffering.
Right.
People are
Right.
suffering. God.
Yeah, man. I see that all on TikTok, like especially in Kingston. Is it Kingston? Kingston something? Is it Kentucky? I don't know. Kingston, whatever. Man, the whole street is just full of people that are
Yeah.
struggling with addictions. It's sad, and it's like, damn. You know what? Like, what did they go through to get to where they are now? But yet, you'll have those clowns that'll pull out their phones and think it's all cute and funny to record it. But karma's a real thing. So, but karma will get back to them.
Yeah. That's why I look at what I did. I used to sell drugs and crack and destroy families, and I ended up getting addicted to. I'm a big person in car. I realized everything just happened to me. It's like it's just, I got what I gave out. And it's like that's why I was like I ain't gonna go back to that. So now I just try to give out positive vibes. hard things have been happening for me, then like, you know what, it's kind of crazy, man.
Hell yeah. Michael, do you regret anything in life?
You know what? You know how some people say I don't regret anything because then I wouldn't be the person I.
Right.
But I do regret, um, besides any of the crimes and stuff. I do regret miseducation of my parents. I do regret putting them through straight hell.
Right.
They're really good people. Uh, I did a number to them, man. So that gave us a rough relationship even today. Like we're still good, but it could be a lot better. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's the only thing I regret is just not. The thing was too. My dad was a retired military guy, officer, and I didn't look at him as someone to talk to, right? Because he just was. His story is like Boy Scout, like 1950s American Boy Scout guy, and we just never. I just felt like I could never talk. We just would never be on the same level, So,
Right.
there was always that distortion or whatever. But now that I talked to him a little more, I'm like, damn, I just wish I would have talked to you when I was younger. So
Right.
it would have changed things. But that's the only thing I regret. I regret it to them more than I regret what I did to anybody else. I mean, that's kind of fucked up to say, but it's kind of where it starts, So just
Right. Absolutely. Michael, do you have you have a family now, right?
yeah.
Nice. How's that going? Everything's all good?
Yeah, I mean, it's good for the most part. Every relationship has its issues. You argue, just love, hate relationship from day to day. Stress.
Right.
I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, it's all good, man. It's a lot better. It's a good feeling. And I have three. I've always wanted another kid since I was the only kid being adopted. I never had like brothers and sisters, and go to your cousin's house and stuff like that. So I want to have each other and be able to share and
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's dope, Mike. I appreciate you, bro. That's especially the stuff that you went through, and being adopted didn't really affect. I don't know if it really didn't affect your marriage and stuff, and the whole love deal with your current wife, right? Or no?
Yeah, I did. Like I said, I was with her from the get go, and I've always told her that nothing's forever, man. Like, and that insecurity of trust. I don't know. And quick, what I learned more about myself when I was in prison, I read a book about overseas adoptions, and whenever babies are born with their mother, there's a chemical connection that they have, right? That they share. Whenever that's separated, there's whatever that chemical connection is lacked in the baby. And
Right.
if you grow up with, start reading the stories, we all have the same story. Like we all have the same issue with, trust, companionship. It's never trusted, no matter how far. It's extremely tested.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
it's kind of when it's a trial. She tries to put up with my shit. I give her that, but it's
Right.
up and down.
Right. Michael, real quick, last thing. Now, have you took anything from prison, and did you apply it to your everyday life now? Like any type of motto or morals or whatever it may be that you took from prison to apply to your everyday life?
Yeah, I always say this. I respect everybody equally because you never know where you're gonna find an ally.
Right.
Uh,
Facts. Facts. That's deep. Yeah. That's gonna make people think. I'm telling you, that's gonna make people think.
business, it works in the streets, it works anywhere, man. You respect everybody. You never know where you'll find an ally.
Right. And the people from prison, I'm telling you, they'll be your best employees.
Yeah,
They cherish life more, and they want it more than others. And I feel like
that's because they're back to the wall. It's like I'm giving you a chance to live right, pay you good, and if you treat them well, man, they'll be up. You tell them to be there at 7 to 5. You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
Yeah.
facts, facts. All right, Michael. I think that's it, brother.
All
I
right.
don't want to keep you too long on this fine Sunday day this fine Sunday day.
Yeah.
But we're gonna for sure keep in touch, man. I'm gonna do another part 2 with you whenever you're free. Whenever you're free, or of a day like ahead of time that you'll be free, hit me up because I want to do a part 2 on some other things.
Yeah.
But this is just scratching the surface of, of yourself and, what you do now and how to stay out of prison. Just, just some of the stuff. I want to also talk about, mental health, especially after prison and after, struggling with addictions of that kind of, set a type of PTSD or any type of way is what I want to talk about as well another time. But it was a blessing having you on, Michael.
Yeah.
You have a beautiful story, man. The journey is like, have you thought about writing a book or no?
People have always asked me about that. And what's funny is people are like, I read E-Myth or Grant Cardone, like this. I don't know how, but maybe one day I'll just write my own book. How,
Right.
this Z-Myth. I don't know.
You should though, bro, for real.
But
I'm a dead ass.
I just don't have the attention span to write, It's like
Right. Have someone do it for you. Just sit there like have you seen the Book of Eli with Denzel Washington? He's just sitting there on the couch and he's just talking because he was blind in that movie.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
someone just typing away, man.
Yeah. Probably.
But yeah, bro, you got a beautiful story, man, and others people need to hear that, and you can change a lot of lives out there that need to be heard. So I had the opportunity. I'm blessed to have you on here, man. I'm glad we crossed paths on TikTok. TikTok's a crazy app, you know what I mean? It connects people and it exposes people's talents, which is a good thing. So I appreciate you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep the hustle going. And we'll look forward to part 2, and I'll keep in contact with you.
Yeah, man. Keep in contact with me.
Hell yeah. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Easy.
Peace.